So we're going to go to the beginning of this show and start with the photograph that Mariola Balinska thought should open the show, so that as you enter the door of the gallery, you see Vajra, my grandson, opening the door for our entrance to the intimate space. Then as Mariola was working with this work, she thought the self-portrait that I made in 1982 should be here so that I'm facing the entire gallery. This was an image to her that represented freedom, and that's indeed what I intended it to be. I call it the female golden mean, the middle way for the woman. And so much of the middle way had to do with the male that I wanted to put myself in here. This is a self-portrait, and it was taken in San Francisco. This is the San Francisco ocean and sunset as I left San Francisco and walked into a new life teaching photography at Cornell University. I would prefer to take you now, because I see things in chronological order, to the end of the gallery down here, where you see my son at the age of 13. We're in Mexico City, and his shoulders reminded me of the young man he's growing up to be. Then with a big surprise to me, he turned around and blew a bubble, which still showed the little boy to me and him. And at this age, in 1981, he was 13, and shortly after that we met Leo, my present husband of 28 years, and we're at a nude beach called Moonstone Beach in Rhode Island. So we were a family who played together, and my son was raised feeling comfortable about his body, so that then when we come to the pictures of his family, we have him with his son, and I think it's very interesting that out of these works, Mariola saw this as another intimate space with the father and the son, who is then two. This is my grandson you saw opening the door when we first came in. And then, just like with the bubble gum, they turn and they face me, so that they are sort of looking at the photographer. My son knows it. My grandson is it's still his space. At that age, he's 2. Let's come over here. His sister comes into his life, Belle, and they're shown the front porch of our home in Ithaca, New York. They're just visiting. This isn't their home. They're just visiting for the summer. And Vincenta is recuperating from having brought Belle into the world here. They go to an outdoor concert where Vajra is continuing to explore his new baby sister, and they're having a picnic. I love the graphics of this when I photographed it. Just the pattern creating this space that they made, where the mother is tending to the child and these other two are having a picnic. My son participated in this by letting Belle suck his thumb, and Vajra, who had been weaned, decided to nurse again also because his baby sister was. So we have Vincenta several times. I see her nursing both babies at the same time. It was difficult for her to say no to Vajra. Here she is with Belle, nursing Belle in the bathtub. This is a very beautiful experience to nurse your own child. And then later, 5 years later, actually, we have Belle a lot older, and they're playing in the bathtub with Mom. These are the hands of my son and me here, and one of the children. I said that this was Belle, but it could have been Vajra. It's very difficult for me to tell at this point in time. In our backyard, we had bought a cattle trough and filled it with water so Vajra would have his own swimming pool that summer. And this is him, I think, being very pensive. And here squirming as his father meditates in our living room. Here he's totally caught up in his own little world, touching his first worm. And I love his focus there on that. He's being very intimate in a way with that worm. So that concludes this beautiful gallery space. And I hope your camera is getting what a luscious space was created here for these images. And then we move into seeing Belle at the age of 6, the young baby that we just saw. And I've posed her here in different spaces in her white dress. Yes, she grew up with nudity too, but she loved to dress up. So you have to, as a photographer, artist, go with what it is the person loves to do. And Belle loved to dress up, and this was one of her favorite dresses. So we photographed her in several situations. This is when we were all visiting Arizona. And so you have this sort of desert kind of background and a lot of things that are laying around there in the desert. But this is Belle number 1. And then you move over to Belle, who's saluting us here. Hello, I am here in my white dress, and I'm going to be very provocative for you. And then, with the shadows on her from the tree, she's being very mysterious and coy. And in the end, I just absolutely love this response of hers to this whole photo shoot in this white dress. It just seems to be such a comment to me. Oh, yes. So we have this face that we show to the world, and then we also have this response inside of us all the time, especially when we're wearing white dresses. Now in this room, we have a blank wall right now, but there should be projected on this wall the last image here of Belle, which was photographed just a year before the white dress. She's 6 in the white dress and she's 5. In this image, the machine is broke right now. But she's shown climbing a tree, a plumeria tree in Hawaii. And I love that picture because I climbed trees when I was a little girl, and my mother hated it. It was like, don't go out there and climb that tree. And of course, the first thing you did was you ran for that tree and up it as fast as you could go. And Belle didn't have those stops put on her. She just loved climbing the tree and no one stopped her. And that's the kind of, I think that's a good example of what I have tried to do with my life in terms of changing things. Is I looked at the things I was told not to do, and if I wanted to do them, I did them anyway, and I didn't want my child and grandchildren to have to fight that struggle. Just let them be free to start with. Thank you.